growing years. So what's on your playlist now?
These days I'm growing old. So, what's on my playlist now? Most of it's on soundtracks, I think these days. But when you grow up, with M.S. Vishwanathan and Ilayaraja, basically. You can't. There's no way that you don't grow up with that. Even today, that's what evokes you. But then you get into all the Western, you get exposed to, Beatles, and then you get exposed to hard rock, and so it keeps growing. And these days, we hear music with these kids in the office, all the assistant directors listen, that becomes our playlist.
Writer and filmmaker, writing is a very lonely process. Filmmaking is completely the opposite. How do you think they complement each other? Do you think it's a healthy trend for the writer and writer to be the same person, like it is, sometimes, mostly? Or do you think one should just wear one hat that you think you're better at?
The trouble comes because I'm not too sure which hat suits me better. I think the fantastic solution is to take literature and make into films. You have a writer who is a master, and if you're able to reinvent it, it's fantastic. But and in Tamil, is really, really rich in terms of literature. But it's not so easy. I've been wanting to do a lot of authors in Tamil that are there, which I've been fascinated by. I think somebody like Ashok Mitran and Sundar Ramaswamy. It's very difficult. They're as pieces of literature, just fantastic. It still needs to be, brought into a film language. So, ideally, you'd like some writing that is far above what you do available to you. Then it makes your job as a director easy. But when you don't have that, then you tend to take up that also, so that whatever you want to do in film, is sourced there. So if you can find something better, something much more richer, it'll make your films even better.
Which makes me want to ask you, is writing not good enough these days? Because in the 70s and 80s, a lot of Tamil films looked to short stories, and they were adapted from short stories. Mullu Malarum was one such film, and many other stories at that time. Siray was, a story. Why don't filmmakers adapt these days? Why aren't they going to?
Goutham, why aren't you doing it?
I did, sir. I worked with. I knew you'd throw that back on me. I worked with Jayamon sir on a recent film.
Yeah.
And you told me, you gave me a few pointers as to how to go about that. But that makes me think, why?
I think it's not so easy. It's not because I think in that form, as literature, especially when it's reached a certain standard, you should be able to find a way to adapt it to ring true to this, that has reached a certain amount of certain degree of class. So you have to find a way in which you can present it here. And not all of them, I feel, at least for my ability, are easy to translate. But I'm sure, there will be future filmmakers who will come and get it done. I think the closer the gap between literature and cinema, I think the better Indian cinema will be.
Going back a bit, so you wake up one day, there's an opportunity to work with Rajinikanth, and you decide, okay, he'll play Karna. Or was it something you're always inspired by, Kunti, Arjuna, Karna, and these characters sort of were in you, and then you decided, okay, this will work for this film?
Yeah, I've always been fascinated with Karna. I think as a characterization, as a character, it's so much has been thrown at him, all his life. And for him to shine and stand tall and have a tragic end which has no solution is just, that's what's great about some of our epics. It throws so many fascinating characters, and that there's so many that can be made out of them. So when I thought of it, then that this is possible. That is after that only I met Mr. Rajnikant and spoke to him. We've been speaking before, but I didn't have anything that I could offer him. It's only when I thought of this as a possibility that we reached out to him.
And Ravan again, sir, much later in Ravan.
Yeah, I think it's in South there is a strong act. I grew in my schooling was and my hostel was in Kalakshetra, where arts and dance, music were very. And when we from the hostel, every Friday we had to attend the dance program at the Kalakshetra. They couldn't get audience, so they will pull all the students in. And there was always Kathakali, which I could never figure out. But all of them dealt with, the characters which were portrayed as villain normally. They would take that up and look at it from his point of view, whether it is Ravana or, any of those. So it is a very fascinating interpretation that has always been there in art form, in South Indian art form. So that is all. It's just Ravan was just an extension of that, to see it from a different perspective.
Speaking about which, does Vikram like you, sir? Because I know in Ravan there's a scene where, he's on this makeshift boat. It's called a Kattalam, I think, where, he's going round and round and he's delivering this monologue. And in Ponniyin Selvan, he's on a horse and the horse is moving constantly and there's a monologue and stuff. I just suddenly, through this comparison, does he like you a lot? And does he listen to what you say? Or?
No, it's good to keep the actors moving all the time. Yeah, I think as a director, you try to make a scene alive. So you're searching for it all the time. So when even Raman, that boat sequence was not there, we didn't plan to shoot it that way till the previous day. It is a conversation. It's a major conversation between the two characters, and it is somewhere where he's opening out and telling her. So it was a very dramatic scene, and to have him just stand in front of her and talk and say this, though we had thought of it being around it, but the next day you have to shoot. As a director, you get worried about it. Till then you're very confident because it was there as a scene, the writing is done. But as a director, you get worried that that you're not being able to do anything more to it. So I thought of that, of him being with the kids in that parcel. But we didn't have any parcel where we were shooting. So we had to get it from Mysore, overnight and then do it. So, that saves you as a filmmaker to keep it alive, to make the actor, deliver it in such a fashion that it is not just the dialogue. It is part of living, part of the entire environment, which makes it alive, which makes it believable. And similarly for Ponniyin Selvan also, it is originally the location was that, it had an entrance and it has these steps, where he was supposed to be invited. And what was conceived originally was that he would not get on the steps and go, but ride around and go and, show that he had no intention of falling for that. So that is what was planned. But when, as it developed, as the director's job keeps coming closer and closer, you try to see how else you can make it better, and to get this man who was, that scene in the book or in the writing is just amazing piece of writing, where you see this man who is, cannot be held down, he's untamed, he's just wild, he can say anything, he can hurt anybody, he can say really rough things, and you still root for him. So it was a very dramatic scene, And so we needed him to have that wilder quality. And then this was thought about then, to do the picture as him sitting on top of everything while the whole world is standing in front of him, including the woman that he cares for. So it just tells a story, helps in telling the story a bit better. So that is all. It's just my way of escaping.
And the 2 parts were shot as one film and then edited into 2 parts. But then once you went into part 2, was there anything that you changed or reshot or went in to sort of fix a few things based on how part 1 worked and all that?
Not at all.
Okay.
We couldn't afford it. No, it's a one film in my opinion. It is just one long film. And we had, times had changed. We were lucky now to be able to tell that story in 2 films. So, but it didn't make any sense to shoot one part and then reassemble everybody for the same locations and do that. So we shot the entire thing as one stretch. And there was nothing that we could, every actor had gone into different, genres and different get-ups and different characters. So there's no way we are going to bring it back. We knew that even when we were shooting. So there was nothing that was reshot at all once it's over.
I'm going to throw the session open to the audience for a bit before I come back to asking Sir a few more questions. Can we do that now? Yeah. I'm so happy to be moderating this where I can pick who asks questions. Yes. Do you have a mic?
Hi, Madam.
Hello.
Hi, GVM, sir. This question is for both of you. Since you have the same approach, since both of you have the same approach, this is a technical question. Since you mentioned, my name is Jay Bharat. I'm a filmmaker who recently started an AI startup which helps to enrich the production workflow, which cuts 85% of production budget and without compromising any vision. So my question is
85% of the production budget.
Yes.
I should learn from you.
Sir,
you should take the master class. I sit there.
Sir, I'm here to tell you this, that it is possible to cut the production cost to 85%.
I'll come privately and take lessons from you.
Sir, we share the same vision to take Indian culture movies into international standards. You always mentioned that Indian stories with international standards was your vision. So we share the same vision, sir. I'm here to tell you this, that it is possible with this technique. And also, I have a question is that you mentioned Tanjore set was challenging because there was nothing happened, and when we go to VFX, it comes out false. Why you feel that it comes out false? And GVM sir also mentioned that there's a budget constraints or the time constraints which restrict you to go to VFX. And you also inspired from Bahubali for making 2 parts, Ponniyin Selvan, but you went to a real sets and real approach. Why is that? You don't believe in CG, or is it a budget or time constraint? Okay, and if that cuts to 85% budget and without compromising any vision, and it helps you to focus on the storytelling rather than management, will you pick that? Will you pick that? And that's the question.
Question is over.
Yeah.
No, it's each individual's prerogative how they want to shoot a film. What you think is real and what you believe in is what you can try and project. And for me, I thought that shooting it in real places is the way to shoot this film. That there should be, dust and dirt, and there should be sweat on people. There should be, it should breathe. You should feel that. So it was necessary for us to shoot in real location. You can do it in VFX, some people do it, and if you're happy with it, good luck to you. But I still feel, where you cannot do it in real time, that is when VFX helps you, not the other way around.
Yeah, 1 second. So when you film, do factors like time and sunset and things like that affect the way you film, or you plod on until you get what you want right? So do you fix in your mind that this has to be done over the next 2 days? Or do you go to a third day because you still haven't got it right? This might help a lot of us, actually.
No, I think over time I've realized that you have to be efficient in filmmaking. You know, I mean, there is no end. I can go on and on and on trying to say a search for something. You know, and a lot of times I have something in my mind and I work with an actor, I tell him this, and sometimes the actor in the take does something completely different, but that works for me. You know, it is, so you pick that, you know, you go ahead with it and go ahead with that. So it's not that you have something fixed completely in your mind, that's what you're trying. For me, I'm searching. I have an idea, I have a kind of an image, but if what I'm searching for is to improve on that. I mean, that is easy because I could sit in my office room and think of that. When you have your camera, you have your fantastic technicians and actors in front of you, you should be able to climb above that. So you do the search, but that search should be within reasonable time, you should be aware that you have to produce the film in reasonable budget, in reasonable time. So it is important to, do your best within restrictions. And sometimes I think the restrictions bring the best in you. You know, I mean, if you have deadline, the sun is going down and you have to shoot, sometimes that brings out the best in each one of us, you know. I mean, the primary example for that is probably A.R. Rahman. You know, maybe if we have to deliver the song tomorrow, he would work like a maniac the day before. So it's that. I mean, I think it's important, to be aware of both schedule, budget, and not let go of your, idea if you, search for a good quality.
This is the school of filmmaking that I always wanted to be a part of. It's a very organic way of filming. You work with the actors, there is a writing in place, but you don't stick to that because the actor sort of, brings his own, and there's so much of respect for actors, where Mani sir comes from, and this should reach out to a lot of young filmmakers here, that this is the school of filmmaking that, one should sort of imbibe. I've tried to be part of this filmmaking school, but sir never takes me in as assistant. He keeps saying I'm busy and all that, so I just thought I'd throw a personal
I can't
side
afford
here.
him.
Yes. Yeah, 1 second. So I just pointed. The next one will be you, sir. 1 second. Yeah, I'll give you a mic. Yeah. Yes.
मैं सुरेश शर्मा बोल रहा हूँ। जो लिटरेचर में, जब लिटरेचर को आप फिल्म में ट्रांसफ़र करते हैं, तो कहाँ तक डायरेक्टर को छूट देनी चाहिए कहानी में? क्योंकि तीसरी कसम फिल्म 66 में बनी थी, तो उसके एक गाड़ीवान हीरामन और नौटंकी की हीराबाई की कहानी है। उसमें कहानी में है कि दोनों अंत में नहीं मिलते हैं, अलग हो जाते हैं, लेकिन राज कपूर कहते थे कि चूंकि दर्शक चाहते हैं कि वो मिलना चाहिए उनको, तो उनको मिला देना चाहिए। एक तो ये, दूसरे देवदास, 18 देवदास पिछले 70 साल में देवदास का निर्माण हुआ है, उसमें सबका अंत डिफरेंट है। यहाँ तक कि आखिरी देवदास पाकिस्तान में 12 में बना है, 2012 में, उसमें देवदास वो पारो घर लास्ट में पारो निकलती है और देवदास की चिता जल रही है, उसमें जाके कूद जाती है।
Kushbu, you want to answer? Kushbu will answer. She understands the question.
So it's basically the same question I asked you. Why couldn't you? Yeah, I'm speaking.
Yes, fantastic.
Why could you have your own interpretation, or should a filmmaker have his own interpretation to a story? Because in Teesri Kasam apparently the ending was different, but Raj Kapoor sort of chose to shoot it his own way. So why can't a filmmaker have his sort of own interpretation?
I think he should. I think definitely there should be something, your way of telling the same story. You know what I mean? You can have, I think, but changing for the sake of changing is something which is, doesn't make sense to me. But when I say that it moves from one medium to another, one language to another language, there will be changes. You don't get big brownie points for being 100% authentic, or You don't get brownie points for just changing for the sake of changing. So it has to be organic. You have to take it inside you and tell it your own way.
Did you miss it out on Anton Chekhov, Dostoevsky, Turgenev, and Tolstoy? And there are a lot of film directors in the 70 years. They all made film with their lovers, and they're all married to them, many of them. For example, Rajashri Shantaram, and you had a lovely looking, very talented person. You never used her in your film, any reason, and you didn't use Rajinikanth in Ponniyin Selvan, where he came and asked you to play a role.
Okay, tell me, what has Dostoevsky got to do with any of these?
No, wait. No, wait, stop.
What is the connection?
No, wait. Because you have not read the best literature in the world.
What makes you think I've not?
Because you didn't talk about
I don't have to talk about every book I've read.
You're
No?
talking about Raymond Chandler.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah, you don't like it, it's your problem. What can I do?
Commercial writer.
And also to each
Yeah,
his
I'm a
own, I
commercial
think.
filmmaker. Don't worry
You're
about it.
not.
Yes, ma'am. Can you please pass the mic to Kushbu, ma'am?
Hi, sir. I'm here in the audience as one of your biggest fans, and you know that. My question to you would be, if you were on the other side of the fence, among your fans, the millions of fans who are sitting and, waiting to hear from you, what is that one question you would like to ask Mani Ratnam, the director?
Why can't you make better films?
Guys, now this is impossible. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Do you have a mic? Sudhir, I'll come to you next.
Hello, sir. I'm here because of River and Varanam actually. So, this is my dream meeting of you. So, Tamil கேக்குறேன்.
Can you hold the mic properly, please?
தமிழ் கேக்குறேன். எனக்கு வந்து உங்க ரெண்டு பேர்கிட்ட பிடிச்ச ஒரு விஷயம் என்னன்னா emotions between two characters. அந்த லவ்வா இருக்கட்டும், அந்த anger or anything between Manis's characters and as well as yours, with Surya as well as Meghna and, for example, and Ponniyin and Aditya Karikalan and Nandini. You both do some magic with those characters. You don't express it with a lot of dialogues or a lot of movements with camera, but expressions. But when those same actors go to other directors, they are not doing it. So I want to learn that from both of you.
நான் ஒரு பக்கத்தில் உட்காந்துருக்கேன்றதுனால என்ன அவர் சமமாக பேசுறது இல்லை நினைச்சுக்காங்க. இங்கே உட்காரத்துக்கு ரொம்ப ஒர்க் பண்ணியிருக்கேன் நான் 10-20 years ஒர்க் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். The rest of the questions I will answer.
Hasn't answered the question.
Yeah, 1 second. 10 seconds, ma'am. Surya and Meghna were part of my life, so it was easy to sort of recreate that. But Nandini and Aditya Karikalan were not part of his life. He didn't see them. So to create something like that must have taken a lot of work. So all respect to you, sir. That's it. Yes, ma'am.
I'm obviously a very big fan, and I just have noticed a trend which is woven amongst all the films that I've watched, which have been directed and produced by you, that you are very strongly, when fleshing out the character arc for your characters in the movie, inspired by Indian mythology. I can literally relate to each character coming out of another mythological character in the history of Indian mythology. So I just want to ask you rather, that and that makes the movie more relatable and definitely more, it adds more gravitas. So I just want to ask you that, is this a trend that everybody should follow even in Bollywood, and how true is what I'm saying? Thank you. My name is Pooja Mishra.
I don't know whether it's a trend that everyone should follow. I think each one will find their own trend. But I think what fascinates me is that, something that's been written and told so many years back, so many centuries back in mythology, is relevant today, that we can relate to it today and we can interpret it in today's day and time in our issues and our problems. That continues to fascinate me. And so if I'm able to find a mirror image here, it pushes you to making that into a film.
Hi sir, my name is Sudesh Srinivasan. You may be a reluctant talker, but it's an absolute pleasure to listen to you, and I hope you do this a lot more often as well. Just to hear you speak about the little nuances of filmmaking while you're engaged in conversation. So thank you, Goutham. Thank you, sir, for this. My question to you is, after a filmmaker achieves a certain degree of success, it seems to me that a lot of them become prisoners of their own success in a sense. You've reached great heights, you're thought of as a legend. And I wonder how that affects your psyche when you're coming up with new projects, new ideas, new films. Even with the next film that you're about to do with Mr. Kamal Hassan, there's so much conversation about Nayagan, about the classic that the film has been. So it seems to me that people do view these films from the prism of certain other collaborations of films that you've done. I wonder how you negotiate that, how you keep alive the love for cinema that you must have had originally when you started doing all of this. Thank you very much.
No, I think for me, if I'm honest with myself, then I'll say that with all honesty that every film is like a first film. So it is, when I go there, I don't know how I'm going to do. I don't know whether I'll be able to put it together cogently. So it is a step by step. That brings you down to earth. Whatever has happened before, good or bad, getting into a new project, starting off with a blank paper, just pulls you down to one realistic place where it says that you're still a beginner. You start from there. So none of those really bother except what you're trying to do at present.
Okay.
So I have a question again. You talked about dust and dirt and grime, and there was this sort of reference from earlier illustrations and all that. But the actual cinematography of the film, Ponniyin Selvan, what sort of work went into figuring out this is the sort of lensing that I will do, and this is the way the camera will move, especially the the boat sequence at the end and everything. I know Ravi Varman shot the film, and I know how Ravi works. But what sort of can I just say input from your side was there before you guys went into filming and on certain days of filming also?
For me, your DOP becomes your closest person when you're making a film. I try to bring them in as early as possible in my film, and I have an idea, not a script. When I have an idea, I discuss it with the DOP and pull them in from that time. So the journey is a journey together. So, and my job is to get the best out of them and still remain honest to the project. So it's not as though everything is formed then and there as we shoot, but it is discussed. It is it's a constant process of evolving. So we have an idea of the style that we do. This is more or less the pattern that we are trying to do, but still be open enough to to kind of improvise there and to get the best of what is there available. And sometimes these accidents are fantastic. You'll find something which you didn't plan, and that will give you a completely different perspective, different style, and so you use everything. I think a director kind of borrows everything without any qualms. You use every bit of it to try to tell the story a little better. and your right hand is your DOP.
And you're unabashed about your 3 a.m. call sheets, artists waking up at 2, getting ready for 3 hours, 5 o'clock in the morning for a shot, or 4 o'clock in the morning for a shot. You don't give a damn if people are complaining. I'm sure your production takes care of that, right, sir?
No, is anybody complaining? No one complains. I think, to be honest, I think if most actors are happy to do work, good work, whatever time it is, as long as you call them and you shoot. If I call them at 5 o'clock and keep them waiting and not do anything, next time they will not come. But as long as I'm able to convince them that this is the reason why we're doing, we're just not, it's for the film. It's not only an actor or an actress, but it's the entire team. Only for an actor, they have to get ready much earlier. They have a lot of prep to do. They have to make up and get up and things like that. So it takes an extra effort from them. And I said that you have to be very considerate to your actors. They are the ones who are in front of the screen, in front of the lens. So you have to be considerate. You have to make sure that they have enough time to, to prepare, to look fresh, to be able to give their best. But it can also be at a time which suits the film as such.
Hi sir. This is Prakyat from Hyderabad-based media platform called Goutham. So you received a lot of appreciation and a lot of collections for PS1 and PS2. But some feedback few people gave us, if it was made into a high-budgeted web series, there would have been more depth to it and people would have enjoyed it even more. So you have plans to do any high-budgeted web series based out of a novel or something? Is it possible here, like Hollywood?
That's a general question. Is it possible here like Hollywood? Maybe, I don't know. But I think for PS, I've always dreamt of it as a big film, not as a television thing where you can pause, stop, go back, attend phone calls, then go back. I think there is a difference when you watch something with a whole lot of audience together. The collective viewing is something very special. And if a classic that has been written and it's been, been such an important novel for so many years, which has been individually read and individually interpreted by each one of them. But if it is made into film, you bring the lot of them who really love that story into one hall and, across different ages, if they sit and watch it, I think that can never be brought on on an OTT platform.
I think his question more was, since there's some great stuff being made out there and not taking anything away from it, will Mani Ratnam ever make something for television which will say teleplay by Mani Ratnam and not screenplay?
I think this long format storytelling is a completely different art, I think, So I think unless you get into it and I don't think it's a natural for me. I'm still, I'm very happy struggling with 2.5 hours. If you give me 6.5 hours, 7 hours to make, I think I'll just get lost. So it is an art which I have to learn.
Sir, hi sir, Santosh from here. Sir, from Madurai sir. Sir, ரெண்டு பேருக்குமே கொஸ்டின் இருக்கு. என்ன மேட்டர்னா ரகுமான் சாரோட கம்போசிஷன் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் ஏற்கனவே நிறைய பேருக்கு தெரிஞ்ச விஷயம் வந்து ஜிவிஎம் சார் எப்பயுமே ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சாங்கை வந்து ஓகே பண்ணிடுறாரு. இந்த மேட்டர் வந்து நிறைய பேர் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. அண்ட் ஆல்சோ பேக்ரவுண்ட் ஸ்கோரை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் சார் அவர் பண்ணுறதை நீங்கள் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டேக்லேயே ஓகே பண்ணிடுறீங்களா, இல்லை நீங்கள் ரெண்டு பேர் உட்கார்றப்போ வந்து எந்த அளவு உட்காந்து நீங்கள் வேலை வாங்குவீங்க, இல்லை லைக் எப்படி அந்த ப்ராசஸ் சார், பேக்ரவுண்ட் ஸ்கோர் ப்ராசஸ்?
He said what I do, so I pick the first tune that comes
அவர்
my way.
சொல்றதுல நம்பாதீங்க, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டியூன்லாம் இல்லை.
Sir, that's why sir, is it real?
இல்லை, நம்பவே நம்பாதீங்க, அவர் அப்படிதான்.
I pick the first tune that comes my way because I like it, and Avalum Nanum is a song that Mani sir, I can't say rejected, but he said it's not for OK Kanmani, and I picked that with a lot of heart and with a lot of love.
Sir, background score process. Background score வந்து எப்படி எந்த அளவு நீங்க இன்வால்வ் ஆவீங்க சார் உள்ள?
I think Rahman is one composer who collaborates very well with the director, with the storyteller. You can put in your inputs and he will take it his way. So there is it's a collaborative process. It is his, the music is his completely, but the style and the options and to be able to take a lateral view of the scene. He doesn't necessarily do the underline the scene, the moments within the scene, but he can do something which is a layer below, and he's a master at it. So it's really fascinating to sit there when he's scoring your scene. It is a fantastic process. Even if I don't contribute anything, I'm still happy to be sitting there and watching it.
Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Sir, as a kid who watched my parents collect the Ponniyin Selvan from the magazine, and they have hardbound, late 70s, early 80s, both of them went and watched the movie. They loved it. So I think.
Thank you.
Sir, and thank you. For our generation, we have watched. I watched from Pallavi, Anupallavi. I'm from Bangalore, Kannadiga, but very good Tamil-speaking parents. I can speak very good Tamil as well. Sir, this is a very layman question, but please answer it. Which is your favorite film of your own? We would like to know. We have watched all the movies and loved it, but please pick one. Don't say that they're like my children. Let us know one film that you like.
Even my own children don't listen to me. You're never happy with any of your films fully, honestly. I mean, you're never honestly happy with anything. You think, it should have been much better, and you strive for it. That's a very honest answer that I can give.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Sagar here. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sir, I don't think I'm in a position to ask you a question yet. So I just want to thank you for making Dalapati film. That is one film I just love. Thank you so much for making that film. And on the other hand, Goutham sir, you have hits, you have blockbusters, and you have classics, out of which Surya Son of Krishnan is my all-time favorite. Thank you for making that film, sir. Recently, it is re-released in Hyderabad in Telugu speaking states, and it wrenched my heart, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That's it.
Sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
Namaste, sir. This is Yogesh. I'm from Maharashtra. I am a writer and I do make short films. So I am a bit nervous actually, standing in front of you and asking questions. So I may make some mistake. Everybody is your fan, but I have a question, and I need your advice also for a budding filmmaker. There are a lot of good storytellers, really nice directors, and a lot of people's films get celebrated. People earn a lot on box office, but after 10-15 years, when we revisit those films, we find some lacuna in maybe research, like costumes, art direction, and all of these things. We feel something is amiss. But when I saw Ponniyin Selvan, what I found, I'm from Maharashtra, I have traveled to South a lot. I was in Bangalore. So I feel so much connected because of the architecture, costumes, the way people speak, and it doesn't look bombastic. I feel I may have seen the character somewhere, maybe in current generation in different costume, but the struggle of the people, their love, and the conspiracies are like happening here now. I think you said a few minutes back. So it's so relatable. Maybe after 20, 50 or maybe 100 years, people will refer those films as a film study. But what I have seen, what I would like to know, what is the importance for a filmmaker, not only with respect to cinematography or writing or storytelling, how much is the importance in the process of art director, costume people, makeup artists, and research part of any film, especially in the period. So could you please give us some advice and your process with those departments?
Yeah, I think you take a film. It consists of all these elements together. Without them, it is not the same. And without the effort that went into the costume and jewelry in PS, it wouldn't be the same. There's a lot of talented people who work, and I've been lucky to get a lot of them. So I think we just say something is cinematography, but it also production design is inbuilt into it, the costume is inbuilt into it, the look will not be the same if those two elements are not the same. So it is a, very essential to get the, production design correct is absolutely essential to make things believable, to make things like it is real, and it will also do something which will help you to make the films easier, which will be aware of how the cameras can move and how it should fit, but still look in a realistic fashion. And similarly with costumes, I think it's absolutely essential to get it right. It sets the mood for the scene. It has to look real, but it also has to tell a story beyond it. Each one of that adds to your storytelling. It is not just a color or a design that's chosen. It is chosen for a particular scene, for a particular character, so that it adds value to it. And it doesn't stand individually. It stands in relation with all the other characters who are there in the same frame. So the entire color palette has to be in a fashion which is, says the same story, not conflicting stories.
Hello, Manisha. Hello, here. Yes, hello. I am Sanmitra Deshpande. I am from Maharashtra. I am a filmmaking student. I wanted to ask you, as a filmmaker, you have a very amazing portrayal of love. You have shown love in amazing films like Alai Payuthe and Okay Kanmani, which have resonated with a lot of generations. So my question to you is, how do you find variety in love? Because romance has been a monotonous genre in films. So how have you been able to explore love as a feeling, as an emotion in your films?
He does it better. True. You can.
Sir, I take it from my own experience. So you too?
I wish I had as experienced a person as you are.
We've answered the question.
Sir,
Yeah.
I'm Deepan from Surana College. I'm a media student. So, sir, my question is for Mani Ratnam, sir. Sir, actually, you're one of the senior person in the film industry, and you would have met many youngsters and many actors in your life. So, what is the different? How do you differentiate between the industry when you first came to the industry and to the present industry? And another question to the Goutham sir, if you would have directed the Ponniyin Selvan, and if you are giving a role to Mani Ratnam sir, what would be it and why?
Clapper boy.
That's blasphemy if you ask me. So that's my answer. So you have to answer the first question.
I've forgotten the first question. I'm thinking of the clap.
The same here, I forgot the question. Yeah. In a nutshell, please.
Sir, first question is for Mani Ratnam sir. And
He's forgotten.
both the questions for both of us. Sir, actually, Mani Ratnam sir is one of the famous and.
So he asked you what the difference is between starting off then and now.
Yes.
I think a world of difference. I just think it's. The technology has changed so much. It's unbelievable. I've never dreamt that we could reach this stage. I think just to take a simple example of only the sound in a film, when I started filmmaking, you would have not seen that. There's no time given for you to do all the sound effects. Nothing. The background score will happen that day, and that night we have to mix the film, and it is done on film, directly mixed on film, which means you have 2 takes. One negative on this side and that side. That's all you're allowed. And for the whole reel, for 10 minutes you have to do. And all effects are given live on the studio like that. And you sitting with a sound recordist who's tired after a whole day of re-recording, who's sleepy and who's ready to just okay it, and you are there watching, and the footstep is wrong, the car sound is wrong, and you have to manage within that. And from there, to today, the change is just unbelievable. It just, I mean, this is one, every aspect it's been like that. It's completely, it's become very, very director friendly. It is filmmaker friendly. It's eased out so much. I mean, the kind of things that we do in editing today, to be able to see it in different options, we could never do it before. So it's a huge, huge change.
Sir,
Hi, sir.
you didn't answer your second question, sir.
I did. Yeah.
Hi, sir.
Yes, you. Yeah, you can go with it.
Hello, Mani sir. This is Vinayak from Hyderabad. Looking at the diverse range of genres that you have touched, I don't think any other filmmaker in India has done so. So, do you essentially read all, do all your scripts yourself? Or are you open to scripts or stories written by others? That's my first question. Second question, I have one. How do I reach you?
Yeah, it's a film that I made called Ponniyin Selvan. It's written by one Mr. Kalki, so I've taken the story from him. So if you find stories which are, which you can relate to and which are very well etched out, then it makes my job easier. Otherwise, you have to do the hard work of finding and writing your own stories and being able to develop it to a large extent. I work quite a bit with, collaborate with a few of the very big writers in Tamil, and it's always been a pleasure to have another mind, another way of thinking involved in it.
Yeah, but as you rightly put it, you have always worked on big, works of big writers. But if somebody who feels it's worth approaching you, because I feel that's something only you can do that. So how do we approach you? That's the question.
Yeah, I think we are open. My office is in Chennai. It's called Madras Talkies, so it's there. That's where you can approach. Thank you.
Hi, sir. Being in the right place at the right time.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Yeah.
Sukumaran here.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, JVM sir, for representing us on behalf of all of us. And Mani sir, being a common audience, I'm having this question. So we can have a repeat value for many movies, especially all of your movies. We are seeing it at least more than twice. We used to connect the movie every single time. But a few of the movies, we are watching it for the one time, it is good. But for the repeat values, what would be our advice to all the aspiring directors to make it more lively and connecting for the decades?
You see only 2 times.
Not really, sir. So,
no.
Again and all, it is more than 5-10 times.
That's better. No, there's nothing.
Good evening, sir.
One second, sir is just answering them. 1 second.
There's no rule of what will make a film watchable several times. So I see, if as a viewer, if I see something, like the Piazza, for example, after 50 years or 60 years, the film just is fresh. So there are some films which stand time very well. I think that is the real sign of a good film, So that is what we all strive for. We won't succeed every time, but you strive for something which is relevant even after so many decades. That's what you look for. That's your target.
Sir, good evening, sir. My name is Vijay. Sir, to ask Mani, sir. So, Goutham sir started acting in movies. So, what would be the character you would like to give Goutham sir in your movie if you would like to cast him?
I told you, I don't know whether I can afford him.
At the risk of a big fight, I'm telling you, please sit down.
Okay, sir. Sir, I would like to ask.
Do not embarrass me.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for portraying women characters very well in your movies. I like that so much. Thank you so much. And have a good evening.
You've raised your hand a couple of times. Do you want to ask a question? Yeah.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, the lady there.
Sir, I'm Tamlarsi Subramanian, coming from Coimbatore. Sir, இப்போ வந்து ஒரு மூவி ஷூட் இருக்கு, ஒரு சீக்வன்ஸ் வந்து இந்த டைம்ல ஷூட் பண்ணணும்னு வச்சிருப்பீங்க. ஸோ அங்கே ஏதாவது டெக்னிக்கல் இஷ்யூ ஆர் ஏதாவது ஏற்பட்ட அந்த சீன் எடுக்க முடியாமல் இருந்தால் ஒரு டேரக்டருக்கு பயங்கரமாக ஒரு ப்ரெஷர்ஸ் அண்ட் டென்ஷன் நிறையா வரும். ஸோ அந்த சுச்சுவேஷன் எப்படி ஹேண்டில் பண்ணுவீங்க? இது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஷின். செகண்ட் கொஷின் என்னன்னா, நீங்கள் ஏதாவது பிளான் பண்ணி அந்த சீக்வன்ஸ் வேற மாதிரி எடுத்திருந்தீங்கன்னா அது எடிட் ரூம்ல போய் பார்க்கக்குள்ள உங்களுக்கு சாட்டிஸ்ஃபேக்ஷனா இருக்குமா?
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின் வந்து நினைச்சது எடுக்க முடியலன்னா அசிஸ்டன்ட் டைரக்டர் நல்லா திட்டலாம். அதான் ஈஸியஸ்ட் வே. அப்புறம் வந்து காம் டவுன் ஆகிடும். அதுக்கப்புறம் வேற வழி பார்த்து ஆகிடும். ரெண்டாவது எடிட்டிங் ரூம்ல வந்து சில சமயம் நம்ம எடுத்ததோட பெட்டராக தோணும், சில சமயம் நம்ம எடுத்தது போராதுன்னு தோணும். பட் அதில் வந்து எடிட்டிங் வந்து இட் இஸ் almost an extension of writing. Writing is there, and then you shoot, and then you rewrite it on the editing table. So what you do there is trying to elevate it, trying to polish it more and more, so that there is, a kind of harmony in the entire thing. So it's a very fascinating process, editing.
Hello, sir. I also have two questions, sir. My first question is, how are you, sir? Is everything okay?
Oh, what does it look like?
So my second question is, can I ask this question in Telugu, if you don't mind, please?
Yeah, I have somebody who will translate it.
Yeah. So basically, నేను కూడా ఒక aspiring filmmaker, sir, writer and director, might be in future. So recently నేను love stories రాయడం స్టార్ట్ చేశాను. So for that I went both of your filmographies, where there are two films and there are two scenes which literally stuck in my mind. The first scene is when Arvind Swami's entry in Bombay movie, where there is nothing much bigger in it, but just that scene sets the whole movie, where he is coming with some servant, he is talking with his family person something, and you will establish Manisha Koirala also there. That scene is just a very common scene. He is coming, she is coming, that's it. But whenever we see that scene, we feel that we are seeing Manisha Koirala. And in Emaya Chesave, when Naga Chaitanya is speaking to Samantha in a colony regarding that 25 years age, you are bigger than me. In that scene, I felt like I am talking with Samantha. Or else I used to blush whenever that conversations come on. So how you guys confirm the dialogues, or you guys write those conversations where audience feel blushing while watching on screen?
I love your imagination.
Thank you.
We make films for people like you where you transport yourself.
Oh,
Keep it going, that's all I'll say. We have time for one more question.
Myself from Kerala. So, first of all, thank you for casting Dulka to OK Kanmani and Vritti for Raman. So, my question is, how has making Ponniyin Selvan impacted your own understanding of history, storytelling, and filmmaking?
I think all stories are difficult to tell, and historic just means that, to get that world more believable, to transport, to take you to a different world, is an effort that needs to be done with a lot of care and a lot of contribution from everybody. So it is completely a different kettle of fish, that right from the way, like I was saying, like the way they speak, the language with which they speak to, what they wear and how their body languages, and how to create that world is a lot of effort, but it's been done by several people several times, and they've done Masterr this year, Shekhar Kapoor with Elizabeth, and what more? Those are champions there. So I think they've all set the standard very high. So we just try to follow.
Yes, sir. I know that there are restrictions, limitations when making a literary piece, which is very much masterpiece and very well read by all the audience into a movie. But how much it is far, I mean, how the limitations get far when it is made into a commercial movie, especially like when RG with the God Life, which was a bestseller in Malayalam, I mean, it made into God Life, the movie. There was a particular scene which the character has sex, having sex with a god to satisfy his sexual desire, but it was cut down. It was not shot. I don't know it was shot or what. It was not there in the movie because it was a very important scene and it conveys what kind of the feelings that the character goes through when we were reading the book, and also what happens when this kind of a masterpiece of a like a literary masterpiece made into a commercial movie, what are the restrictions and how far it goes? Because I mean, in Ponniyin Selvan itself, I mean, we see Aditya Karikalan, who's played by Vikram and Karthi and every other actors who were tremendous in their work. I mean, I don't have any doubt in it, but they are very fair in their skin and can't. I mean, I'm not someone who is supportive of this old kind of. I mean, like the so-called political correctness to be kind of fair and black and all, not all these things, but these people are real characters. And Aditya Karikalan, who is a Tamilan, I mean, he's the kind of he's a Chola, and it is the identity of the Tamils is black. So, and also there is Parthivan in this movie who played the Karikalan in Ayirathil Oruvan, but he was not the leading character. I mean, how far does this goes? I mean, when you are making a literary masterpiece into a commercial movie, how far this restriction goes? I know there are a huge budget and it falls upon the producer that you itself. So I mean, yeah, I guess that's the problem. But I mean, how far would you go to make this happen? And also, I mean, if you could, I mean, the Rendamudam is still available in Malayalam. I hope it comes into your mind. By MT was there, right?
You asked 4 questions. You've answered all the 4 questions.
Sorry. This is last question, sir. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is regarding the DOP. I'm the biggest fan of you both, but more than this, I'm more excited to Ravi sir, who's standing from so long. So thank you, sir. Thank you for being the biggest fan of you. So
Hi, Ravi. He's a star.
Yeah. And the question is, so you create a scene, right? You write a scene, and when it comes to the screen, like, do you involve in the the camera angle, all those things, the DOP, or you left it to the person, like, you'll give all the freedom to him?
Ravi, you want to answer? No, I think without your DOP next to you, without him, the film is not going to look the same. So there is an understanding and trust that has to be there. He has to trust me and I have to trust him. And that is how we meet. And we are not looking at just shot. We are looking at making a scene work. We are trying to, make sure that the whole story in that scene is told. I think what is very nice about somebody like Ravi is that he's not interested only, in his cinematography. He's interested in the story. He's one of the first person who reads the entire script. So it's a huge advantage to have somebody, who is interested in the entire thing and not this one part.
Thank you, sir.
So that's it. We'll be asked to evict the space. I have one final question with which we'll wind up, sir. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. We can't. We've been asked to leave. No, we don't have time for that. Very sorry. Yeah. So we'll just wind up with this, sir. I have one question, which is also a thought, and I'm borrowing a line from my second favorite film, Dead Poets Society again. In this faithless world, in this world filled with the foolish, there is this music, this song that goes on, and all we're asked to do is contribute a verse. What will your verse be? What will your verse be?
You start with a quote from one and you finish with a quote of another. You've done a lot of homework. You should have warned me about this. I would have come prepared with something like that.
No, but what will your verse be? So we're only asked to contribute a verse. What will your verse be?
I don't know. That's a verse. Okay.
Sir finishes with I don't know, and I'm so thankful that I could ask him a few questions on your behalf, like you said, and share space with him. Thank you so much for being such a
Thank you very much. Thank you.
With this, our session comes to an end. Can we please have a big round of applause for the moderator and the legend himself? We'd also like to thank you, audience, for being with us. I know you had a great time, and we definitely want to see you tomorrow. Thank you, and have a great evening.